What is up, fam? So in this video, you pick some shitty knives that you have and that you feel like you can make a handle for. And don't plan at all. You just say, I'm going to make a handle for these knives. And you show how shitty they are and you say, hey, this can't be that hard. Yeah. Well, then you start to work and you have to disassemble them and that takes 2 hours. And then you think, oh, I'll just trace this out. And you really have no game plan, but you just start going for it. You don't even know how long it should be. You don't even know the shape. You don't even actually know the process that you're going to follow. And then you come up with a stencil because you think everything you just planned or didn't plan is just going to come out right. And that you're going to make 4 more of these. And then you get to work, marking everything down. And you're like, oh, I've got this. I'm going to nail it completely. But really, you have no idea what you're doing because you didn't plan. So you start drilling into this hard wood that's kind of expensive and haven't used a bandsaw or a drill press in years, and you just wing it. And then you get to this point of like, I think I'm doing it right, but I'm not. And you struggle, and you're on the struggle bus for a while. And you're on the struggle bus for so long because nothing's just working. And then you get to this point where you're like, oh, I've fucking nailed it. Look at this shit. This is going to work perfect. And then you have this realization of like, oh, I fucked up. And so you decide, let's just restart. Look at my first handle, sucks. I can do this even better. So you come up with a plan where you're going to glue some boards together and you're going to make this cool design of, oh, mixed hardwood. They're exotic. Oh my gosh, look, I'm going to cut out a little square. It's going to be perfect. And you try to show it off like, oh, look, I came up with an actual plan this time. But you haven't come out with a plan. You just kind of wing it. And then you get to this point where you have it in a general shape. And then you decide, oh, I have to make a jig that will help me sand this perfectly. I'll get to shape it just right. So you try to show off your freaking CAD skills and you get nowhere with that because in the end you realize that you screwed up and you have to go back and redo it and then you print it on your fancy printer that you paid way too much for. You're like, nailed it. Look at that. Corners rising up and you're like, it's almost done. Great. Oh, yeah, it fucks up. Okay. So then you print it again and you think for sure this time it's going to be better. But really, you didn't even pay attention to what was happening and it does it exactly the same. So you print it a third time and it almost does it again, but you come out with something usable at least, hopefully. And now you get back to making your stupid knife handles that you said were going to be easy. And then you spend so much time sanding that you get to this point of like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? At least the jigs kind of worked to get the general shape. Don't forget to drink and hydrate while you're in the middle of this because that's very, very important. And then, just to remind you how much sanding you actually have to do, you just keep sanding. Oh, and then you find this fancy tool that you think is going to help, and so you start that. And you just keep going, and it never gets easier. It's never getting better. You're making progress, but nothing seems quite right. And then you get to this point of like, oh, I got a good shape. And you're using your fancy little jig. You're like, oh yeah, nailed it. Sand, sand, sand. And then you remember you have to do this 3 more times after this. So if this one actually works, you still have to repeat this process and try to come out with the same result. But you didn't really plan. So now you're just stuck here. You come up to this point and you're like, nailed it. Fucking nailed it, bro. And you keep working. See, I don't think I can like tell you how much sanding and shaving and cutting this took. It was multiple days to make one handle. And for some reason in my brain, I still thought like this was doable. I do work a full time job. I do have a family to take care of and spend time with. I can't spend all my time just sanding wood. I don't know how people do it. It's not even fun. And so you just keep going. And after you do this for so long, you get to this point where you're like, you know what? Late night, Amazon searches, you find a one piece blank DIY replacement handle, and you just buy it. And then you give up on your whole process.
It's my first handle. Sucks really bad. Although we got it to a point where it's usable, it just sucks. Could have been fixed, but it's really short and oddly shaped. Then we went with the octagonal. Look at this bad boy. 2 types of wood, has good texture. Ooh. Drilled it, couldn't drill it straight. Ended up with this, which is way too short. Also, pretty similar to this guy. I don't know what I was thinking, but this should have been probably like half an inch or an inch to 2 inches longer. What we did in the end, though, look at this bad boy. Hard work and determination. Or actually $15 on Amazon, and you get this. Glues right in. I even put a little brass pin there. And this is going to work great. It's nice and sturdy. It's already treated. Perfect. Save your time and effort and just do this. Unless you're a professional chef or something, you want something really nice. Or if you have tons of time and are actually good at woodworking. See, I'm not. So definitely the route to go.